Ok, vi skal reagere til en video. Den heter Hvem, Drepte, Call of Duty. Den er fra en creator som heter AndyPants Gaming. Så jeg tenkte jeg skulle reagere litt på den. Og så se, jeg har en del meninger selv. For de som ikke vet det, jeg har spilt Call of Duty siden tidens morgen. Altså jeg har spilt alle COD som noen gang har kommet ut. Men noe har skjedd spesielt de siste 2 årene. La oss ta og se videoen, og så kommer vi tilbake igjen til mine meninger.
Old COD was like this.
Do not stop shooting! Now! Fire! Leave their heads from their shoulders!
Ok, det der var tide. Det der er sånn som jeg husker, og sånn som jeg vokste opp med Call of Duty.
New COD is like this.
Ja. For dere som ikke har spilt Call of Duty på lenge, det her er noe av det som møter dere nå. Eller vil ha møtt dere, hvis dere spilte.
Call of Duty, in case you weren't paying attention, has become a complete joke. I personally ditched the game a while ago, but I think diehard fans have been hanging on the past few years, with Warzone 2.0 still able to hit 500,000 players back in 2022. But what has happened since Black Ops 6 came out 1 year ago is truly unique. There's been a complete collapse of the player base from within. Huge COD streamers and content creators are just giving up.
Det er veldig mange som quitter, men det er også fortsatt veldig mange som fortsetter å spille, inkludert meg selv. Fordi at akkurat nå, det er ingen andre gode alternativer hvis man vil ha en first-person shooter, boot on the ground, spesielt Battle Royale, som gir noen samme feelingen.
Up and quitting the game in droves right now. I noticed Jev just completely quit playing the game. The player count has driven off of a cliff with concurrent player numbers on Steam sitting at around 60,000 since January. But it gets worse. In May, Activision got busted for inserting ads into paid versions of Call of Duty. They backpedaled and call it a UI glitch. Right. Beavis and Butthead and Seth Rogen skins show they've abandoned any pretense of this being a military game and have so little.
Så hovedgreia her, og det er min mening også, det har tatt litt av når det gjelder skins, operators og de tingene i shoppen. Det er på en måte det som er fokuset. Det er mer fokus på å selge cosmetics enn å faktisk prøve å lage et bra spill og komme med nytt content. Jeg har vært litt sånn, ikke brydd meg så mye, men jeg skal innrømme de siste månedene, spesielt etter de her kom, og så gir det mer og mer avsmak. Det begynte å irritere meg mer og mer. Det er for mye av det, og det er for mye fokus på det, rett og slett.
Little respect for us that they think we will leap at whatever retarded nostalgia bait they toss in our piggy trough. Black Ops 7's announcement last month, instead of generating hype, had the fan base letting out a heavy sigh with a historic amount of downvotes on the trailer. One user commented, "No matter what, there will be a bunch of Ninja Turtles and Teletubbies running around the maps. Might as well include them in the trailer next time." Also them thinking...
True. For de som ikke vet det, Black Ops 7, det er neste Call of Duty som kommer. Det kommer nå i... jeg husker ikke datoen en gang. Men det kommer i høst en eller annen gang. Og det har vel aldri vært mindre hype for et kodspill. Altså, folk begynner å bli lei.
They can buy you off with some cheap nostalgia bait always pisses me off, completely ignoring the fact this game is nothing like it was in 2005. Isn't it funny how on the cover art of the game they're still leaning into this badass thing like, "Ooh, look, this new COD is going to be so gritty and intense." Boot the game up and there's 20 Barneys running around. So how do we get here, boys? How do we go from Call of Duty being the most successful military shooter of all time?
Oh, all these games. Det der var tida.
To Ninja Turtles running around with a pizza launcher as Activision desperately tries to squeak out $1 more from you. Well,
problemet er at de så suksessen til Fortnite med det, og de prøver å kopiere det. Problemet er bare at I Fortnite passer det I en viss grad mye bedre inn. Det er et free-to-play-spill også. Men I noe som på en måte skulle... Det er feil å si realistisk military shooter, for det har aldri vært det. Det har alltid vært veldig arcade, men ja. Det passer I hvert fall ikke... Det passer I hvert fall ikke inn. Min mening.
Well, I think it's 4 major things that killed Call of Duty, and I want to explain each one in detail. Number 1, cosmetics in Call of Duty used to be an indicator of player skill. Now, any cosmetic can simply be purchased with a credit card. And
Ok, med det han sier da, jeg både enig og uenig. Altså, jeg kan bare si det med en gang. Jeg uenig med det. Sant? Call of Duty ikke dødt langt ifra, og det kommer mest sannsynlig aldri til å dø, med mindre de legger ned selv. Men det nå at du på en måte kan kjøpe deg til det aller meste. Det også blitt ekstremt greedy, fordi at du har vanlig Battle Pass, greit nok. Du har også det som heter Black Cell, som er et premium Battle Pass. Prisen på det vel nå 360 norske kroner. Og de kule tingene som regel låst bak den betalingsmuren. Men I tillegg så kommer det events som du kan spille for å unlocke ting. Men der også det enkelte items, skins, camos, bla bla bla, som du kun får hvis du har kjøpt Black Cell. Så det også blitt veldig greedy. Og det koster hundrevis av kroner for å kjøpe en bundle. Og mye av det du kan kjøpe Donald Duck og Teletubbies og
it has no meaning anymore. So this might blow some minds, but did you know in World at War in 2008, literally the only thing that showed off what a badass you were was this tiny little number right here and this tiny little icon right here, but people worked their ass off for these. The next year, MW2 added calling cards which would show up in the kill cam whenever a player killed you. The best calling cards were only available for certain
Men det skal sies, det fortsatt noen cammer som du absolutt ikke kan kjøpe deg til, som typisk Mastery. Du må fra multiplayer, og du har også en egen for Warzone, og de kan du kun få tak I med å spille. Men det det eneste.
Achievements, 100 headshots, 1,000 bomb defusals, things like that. Within a few years, gun camos started to be unlocked for incredible player feats. I remember diamond camo was the hardest to get in Black Ops 2. But if you ever saw the kill cam of somebody kill you with diamond camo, you thought, okay, I'm not so mad because that dude was a badass. So you see, back in the day, cosmetics in the game were limited, and what few cosmetics the game had were tied to player skill. You couldn't get the diamond camo unless you were a Giga Chad in Black Ops 2. In MW2, there was a calling card you could only get if you had called a nuke, aka you had gotten a 25 kill streak. You were showing off your skill and what a badass you were. How has this changed today? In modern Call of Duty, the best, flashiest, and most conspicuous items today are no longer tied to player skill. While yes, they technically still have a calling card for getting multiple nukes, the flashiest items are character skins, and these can all be purchased with a credit card. Nobody cares about your calling card when you're getting your ass beat by Nicki Minaj. Anybody with mom's credit card can become a Ninja Turtle or the guy from Saw or Nicki Minaj. In a word, cosmetics no longer have meaning or significance anymore. Now, why would Activision do this? Because at the end of the day, they don't care about gameplay. They just want to make as much money as possible. Most players are bad. Most players have no skill. But if I can pay $50 for a Rambo skin, maybe that's going to make me feel better that I'm bad at the game. I really miss this aspect of Call of Duty where your achievement in the game was attached to some kind of trophy that you could show off. But those days are long gone. Before my next point, I want to tell you guys about a free game that, unlike Call of Duty, never went woke, and that is the based military vehicle combat game War Thunder. Blowing up enemy ships is fun as hell, it contains zero political nonsense, and of course it's made by a Giga Chad Eastern European game studio. War Thunder is the biggest and most comprehensive military vehicle combat game on Earth, with 2,500 tanks, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, all rendered in perfect detail. Whether you want tank battles, naval destroyer battles, dogfights, everything is here for us military history buffs with realistic graphics and accurate historical sound effects. I think my favorite game mode is realistic mode, in which the game recreates famous battles from history. Click the links in the description down below and you can immediately claim all the bonuses you see on screen. Start playing the biggest vehicle combat game on Earth right now on mobile, PC, or console. War Thunder. Okay, back to the video. Number 2. Call of Duty has completely killed its own atmosphere and become a joke. Do you ever look around at Gapex, Fortnite, Call of Duty, 7 Gays to Die, etc., and just think, every game has become the same game? When I was growing up, you actually got different experiences from playing different games. Halo 3, Bad Company, and COD 4, despite all being first-person shooters, had completely different controls and were very different games. Call of Duty, despite being bombastic at times, was always known for its gritty, realistic military tone. The pinnacle of this was probably achieved in World at War. The ability to blow off limbs and heads and feet in World at War was truly unparalleled. Maybe the GameStop employee was looking the other way while your mom bought it for you in 2008. The game opens with a Japanese guard torturing an American POW by putting out a lit cigar in his face. You had soldiers screaming and crying out to God as they were...
Det er litt akkurat det jeg sier. Altså, der kan jeg være enig med Titan-videoen, at akkurat det er ødelagt. Selve atmosfæren. Kanskje det får litt, altså akkurat når det kommer et nytt kodspill, du spiller gjennom campaign, de tingene der, når alt er clean default, før itemshop og alt det der blir pushet ut, og alle kjøper tydeligvis det som er itemshoppen, og springer rundt som Teletubbies. Så er på en måte atmosfæren. Altså, det er bare til å gå inn og prøve noe, gå inn og spille Rebirth, verdansk, whatever. Det er bare noe med stemningen i spillet når det kommer Teletubbies og Ninja Turtles hoppende på deg i noe som skal på en måte være rettet mot militært skytespill.
Burned alive with flamethrowers. At one point in the game, you wake up in a pile of corpses with the birds feasting on your flesh. Even the color grading of the game has much more muted, subdued tones compared to anything we would see today. World at War is a masterpiece. All right, so you finish the single-player campaign. Now imagine in 2008, you boot up the multiplayer for World at War, and it looks like this.
Det var akkurat det jeg mente. Det var akkurat det jeg mente.
What indicates to me that Call of Duty might actually be collapsing as a brand right now is that the level of cartoony bullshit we are seeing in the game right now is something we've never seen before in the 23 years of this game's history. COD desperately needs to remember where it came from. It needs to get back to the basics. World at War had no cosmetics. The way your character looked would just change depending on your class, sniper, machine gunner, etc. Perks like stopping power and juggernaut required some level of strategy. There were only 3 kill streaks: radio, mortar barrage, and of course dogs. Just the tone of the voice lines in the old CODs was totally different. Oh. Gary Oldman out here making me believe I'm in an actual war right now.
On the ledge! Shoot him!
I want to give credit to the Modern Warfare games, of course, as well. Modern Combat, terrorists, nukes, the Middle East, badass Spetsnaz soldiers, Russian military. I actually think MW2 is my favorite campaign in the entire series. There were times, of course, where the campaign was over the top, flying down a hill in snowmobiles with a one-handed SMG. But there wasn't any goofy clown-ass bullshit in Modern Warfare. The games were badass. Fixing Call of Duty would mean killing all of the corny skins and characters and ridiculous trash that Activision has added to the game, and they make too much money off of this garbage. So guys, let's just accept that it's never going to happen. We simply have to find other games to play. I recommend Squad, Arma Reforger, Hell Let Loose, Insurgency Sandstorm, Ready or Not, etc.
Eller Battlefield 6. Hvis det blir bra. Jeg har et lite håp.
Number 3. Call of Duty needs to fix its skill-based damage modifiers and other SBMM trash that it added to the game since 2019. Do you ever notice that early on in the evening, COD puts you in easier lobbies, and as the night goes on, the game gets harder? That is 100% part of their algorithm. Here's another interesting patent that Activision filed for the game in 2017. Reading directly from the patent, The system may include a microtransaction, arrange matches to influence game-related purchases. For instance, the system may match a more expert/marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of items possessed used by the marquee player. So first
Jeg vet ikke om det der er sant, men det er helt sykt hvis det er.
off, we know that Activision is filing some sketchy patents that have to do with matching certain players with other players to make them buy more stuff. Another thing that players discovered in the code recently is a modifier that adjusts how much damage bots do according to that player's kill-to-death ratio. You can watch...
Det er nok tilfellet. For de som ikke vet det, nå nylig så har de begynt å legge bots AI inn i forskjellige game modes. Det kommer masse game modes som de heter casual, der du spiller mot bots og et veldig fåtall players. Men der også legger de skill-based matchmaking inn, som er det systemet som bestemmer hvem du skal... Altså hvor gode de du spiller mot er, og hvem du skal møte og ikke.
Videos of it happening. So if you have a 0 kill to death ratio, you will do more damage to bots. If you have a 2.0 kill to death ratio, you'll do less damage to bots. So fans immediately wanted to know, is this happening with player damage? One YouTuber tried to do this in a private match and wasn't able to produce any difference based on your KD, but then you find a ton of clips online of bogus treatment that begin to make you really ask what's going on.
Bravo!
Ja, det her ble tatt opp mye før. Jeg tror det er en konspirasjonsteori at det er skill-based damage. I hvert fall i de game modes der du kun spiller mot players. I de modes der du møter bots, så tror jeg planen er at de legger det inn. At du bedre det, til bedre bots vil du møte. Fair enough, eller greit nok. Bryr meg ikke så mye. Men det her, det går rett og slett på at Call of Duty kjører elendige servere. Dette er server delay som forårsaker.
So we know that connecting to the server is involved every time there's a hit marker. Basically, your console has to connect to the COD servers and then relay back before it can confirm that there's a hit.
Yep.
But the amount of sketchy junk going on lately should raise...
Men jeg forstår at når det er mye sånne klips ute her, så kan man tro at det er skill-based damage. Men det er nok serverne som gjør det, 100%. Uansett hvor mye cash de tjener på Teletubby-skin, så har de ikke tenkt å investere i bedre servere. Warzone-servere kjører vel mellom 15 til 20 ticks, utenfor hva jeg har hørt, som er vel det dårligste som finnes der ute. Hvis man sammenligner med andre Battle Royale-spill.
Flags for all of us. You'll see players unloading 2 clips into somebody before they die. You'll see blood splatters and obvious hits with no hit marker. So all of this horrible netcode and manipulation of player lobbies and the amount of damage people are doing is just sketchy, and it's killing confidence that people used to have in this game that it was going to give them a fair experience. So what are we asking for here? I honestly think COD needs to revert back to like its 2017 era netcode. I remember getting mad that somebody was dropping a Huey on me in the original Black Ops, but there was never me just completely hitting somebody and it not registering shots. So in order to fix this, Call of Duty just needs to take out all of its current garbage netcode and rewrite it completely, I think. This is the kind of junk that has made me never want to pick up Warzone again, and I hope they sort it out soon. All right, this is the last one. Number 4. As I've talked about in other videos, Call of Duty needs to remove all the woke girl boss garbage from these games. So I know the single player campaign is such a minor thing to Activision these days because people barely play it. But when you start the Black Ops 6 campaign and it has all these Latina girl bosses, all these gay characters and
Jeg har fortsatt ikke spilt campaignen i Black Ops 6. Jeg har bare tenkt å gjøre det, men jeg har fortsatt ikke spilt det.
all this trans garbage, it just doesn't fit with the original tone of the game at all. You can get mad about it, but Call of Duty campaigns have always primarily featured men doing military stuff. There are virtually 0 women in elite combat roles around the globe. It's like less than 1%. Boot up Call of Duty and you would think 50% of military PMCs are women. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not going to rant about the woke stuff in Call of Duty. You can see that stuff in my other videos, but I'm going to get out of here. So I think the only way they're going to fix COD is go back like 10 years, rewind the clock, and start over. Give us like 3 kill streaks. Give us a couple perks. Give us very limited and very realistic appearances for the different characters, appearances for the guns. Make the guns look correct. Don't just invent a bunch of retarded guns and put them in the game. But guys, let's be honest. Call of Duty isn't going to do any of that. They're never going to fix the game, and it's probably going to be like this until it dies. So our only hope right now is to seek out more realistic military games. Before we get out of here, I wanted to thank Warth.
Ok, det var det. Siste delen her, så er jeg egentlig litt uenig. Jeg føler ikke at woke på en måte for min del har vært et problem i, nå har ikke jeg spilt den storyen han har sagt om det, men ja, jeg føler kanskje det er litt sånn overdrevet. Og jeg tror kanskje det er mer, uten at jeg skal si at jeg vet det, men at det er mer kvinner i militær rundt omkring i verden, eller kan man tenke seg til. Jeg synes stadig jeg ser på sosiale medier, mye damer i militærforsvar, så jeg føler jeg er litt uenig med den biten som man tar opp der. Men alt det andre, egentlig veldig enig. Det er gått for langt. Jeg merker det selv når jeg spiller kod nå, både når det gjelder skill-based matchmaking, og ikke minst det med cheaters. Veldig rart at han ikke tok opp den biten, egentlig. At han tok med det, for det er et kjempestort problem, men det er en diskusjon for en annen dag. Men det jeg skal si, jeg merker at det er mer og mer slitsomt å spille det spillet her. Det er sånn 2-3 timer, så er du egentlig sliten. Den gode følelsen er gone. Kanskje de kan få det tilbake igjen. Gå tilbake litt mer til røttene, men jeg er litt redd at det er gått for langt, og hvis pengesekken bare øker med å pushe ut Teletubbieskin i itemshop og bundles til flere 100 kroner, så er det nok ingen vei tilbake. Uansett, det var en liten React-video. Hvis du har meninger om Call of Duty sin tilstand, gjerne skriv det i kommentarfeltet. Uansett, tusen takk for at du så på. Ha en fin dag. Hei og hå.